What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dos Leprechauns podcast. I'm Jason. This is Nate, and we're joined, as always, by our good buddy and fellow administrator on the Dos Leprechauns page, Jeff Strebijax. We call him Strabby because it's way easier than Strubajag. So, Boston College week.
Absolutely.
Kickoff in an hour. Hopefully, it's not going to be a stressful game. Shouldn't be. The most stressful thing I hope I have to worry about is who's going to play running back after Jadarian Price and Aeneas Williams. Hopefully that's the big guessing game here. So, Nate, I know you did a little bit of research. Jeff, I know you got some research going on Boston College and what to expect from those guys. So go ahead and let our listeners have it.
Yeah, it looks like BC is going to be starting Dylan Lonergan at quarterback today. Transfer from Bama. He started off the year pretty good, like against teams like Fordham and Michigan State and Stanford, and then kind of started to struggle against teams like Cal, and then got benched during the Pitt game when they got blown out 48-7 by Pitt. And then he came in some mop-up duty against Clemson. Didn't look too great there. They got Turbo Richards, their running back, solid little running back. But overall, BC is kind of an underwhelming team. They turn the ball over almost 2 times per game. Their defense allows 35 points a game, and their offense scores 27 points per game. So it's just a very inconsistent team. You know, last week they lost by 14 to Louisville on the road. The week prior, they lost by 15 to UConn, and then got destroyed by Clemson. Pitt lost in double overtime to Michigan State, and then their only win so far this season is against Fordham.
Wow.
When they won 66-10. So not too many big wins on their schedule so far, and I really don't see them getting many more wins, to be honest, because they have a gauntlet to end the year. They play us, obviously, then they play SMU at home, and then they play Georgia Tech at home. And to end the year off, they play Syracuse on the road. So really not too easy of a schedule for Boston College. Maybe 2 wins this season if they can sneak past Syracuse. But other than that, just a very unimpressive Boston College team.
Jeff, what have you seen? I know you had some comments before you went on the air about their defense.
I mean, you mentioned it a little bit with the defense giving up 35 points per game, and I think that's probably on the lower tier of FBS schools, probably in the 100s at this point. And I did look at their FP Plus and all those analytical stats, and they do not grade out well, particularly anywhere from their pass rush to their secondary. I think their most difficult standpoint is they have three true freshmen starting in their secondary, and that is something that I'm sure Coach Mike Brown and Coach Gino and Denbrock leading the offensive tide is going to look at and start exposing, because we have plenty of options on offense from our Thunder and Lightning backfield to a lot of wide receivers that have really showed out. I mean, I think that we can expose them, but the biggest thing that I've seen just through the record this year is they don't get out of the gate. That's their biggest issue. They don't get out of the gate, and it's very interesting to me because this is a Bill O'Brien coach team, and you'd think that they would be more disciplined. The 2 turnovers game, if you watch their turnovers, like I watched a little bit of the Louisville game, and it's just a lot of mental mistakes out there by this Boston College team. But on the other hand, I know they're going to come out and be pretty fired up to play Notre Dame, even as a 1-7 team. So that's something that we just have to err on the side of caution as a fan base, that this is still Boston College and we're Notre Dame with the target on our back.
Right, and that's the only thing for me. It's always just, are we going to come out flat? A week since a very emotional win versus USC. Had a week to think about it, but I feel less worried about that than I ever have in the past, really, because I think Freeman does a really good job preparing these guys in the bye week. So yeah, I'm excited to see hopefully some backups get some reps. It'd be great to see some Kenny Minchie out there. I know Freeman's been teasing using him in some certain goal line packages. I really hope at some point we get to see that, because I'm really getting tired of the quarterback draw or going right up the middle when the opposing coaches see it a mile away. So hopefully get a little mix of that in there, give some Minchie some reps, get Aeneas Williams some reps, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, this should be a game that is really not in question for too long. I just hope the Irish don't come out flat.
Yeah, same.
Injury-wise, I know we'll be without Billy Scrouth again, so it looks like Sully Absher will be taking those reps. Jaden Greathouse is not playing again. Devontae Smith is out. I think I saw Jordan Botello's out. Is that, correct me if I'm wrong?
That would be new.
Just questionable.
Gabe.
I'm sorry.
Gabe's out. Gabe's out.
Gabe.
Again.
Sorry. Gabe's out. Botello's in.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a look at that right now. But yeah, the Gabe Rubio, just to kind of go on. I listened to Freeman's press conference, and it seems very promising, and it seems like they're more cautious and know what's ahead of them on the schedule with Rubio. And our defensive front has been playing very strong. So I think there's some hey, let's get Gabe fully healthy rather than throw him out there when he's not full.
Yeah, agreed. Let's see. So Matt Jeffrey, some special teams guys are out. Logan Thomas is out. Mikey Gilbert's out. So down a couple of receivers, but again, I'm sorry. Out for the game. Charles Jagasaw, obviously. Peter Jones, Gabe Rubio, and Billy Scrouth are the only ones it looks like will be officially without. So yeah, Sully Absher, just a big kid, big athletic kid, tough. I think he's going to be just fine out there. I'm not worried in the slightest. Joe Otting has been very impressive, I think, at center, especially against USC. Joe Otting and Billy were just bullying guys out there against SC. That was just so much fun to see. And I expect more of the same from Sully. He's a big, 6'8", 327-pound monster. I think he'll be mauling some guys today on that small and unimpressive defensive line. All right. Not a whole lot of comments so far. Gary Kennedy says we have to get better in the red zone. That's for sure. Although I feel like we got our toughest opponent taken care of against USC remaining. I'm definitely not as worried about Navy, considering they're getting beat by North freaking Texas. In fact, it's now 31-17 North Texas. So thanks a lot, Navy. But Pitt is going to be a challenge. I think Pitt's going to pose a big challenge on the road. They're going to have Aaron Donald jersey retirement day. So, that's a team with a really good quarterback and a good defense. So we'll talk more about that, obviously, in the post game, and then obviously next week before the game. But I don't think anybody should be taking any of these teams lightly, including Boston College, because we all know what happened back in 1993, which we won't talk about. But yeah, so going to be fun. I really, again, do hope we get to rest some of the starters and see what some of these backups can do.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have 2 quote unquote bye weeks in a row. Where you can get CJ Carr some breaks on the sideline, J Love get some breaks, Price get some breaks. I think it's smart to not have Gabe Rubio play, and you don't know with Jaden Greathouse at this point what's going on with that situation. But if you can get those guys back for more of these quote unquote trap games, I guess, I think those are more important, like the Pitt game, like you said. Games like that where, a lot more is on the line. Obviously, the season's on the line every single game of the year from now on, but you just got to win the games in front of you at this point.
From a discussion standpoint, there was a gentleman that emailed us or messaged us on our Dos Leprechauns page with a kind of a thought-provoking comment about the playoffs. And, I thought some of his comments were good. He talked about it felt like given that we would get in, and I don't think that's the case anymore. He says for him, SEC only sends 4 teams. ACC sends 1. Big 12 sends 1. And he thinks we need 3 out of the above 4 to happen unless they move us up based on the eye test. Then obviously I think we are a top 5 team. So, where are you at on that right now, Jeff? Do you think it's as simple as no matter what happens with our opponents and who they play, do you think it's as simple as winning we're in, or do you think we still need some shenanigans to occur?
I wouldn't call it shenanigans. I think it would just be letting the SEC schedule play out and letting the Big Ten schedule play out, because those are probably the two that are the most prominent to get maybe 3 teams in, and quote unquote 4 teams with the SEC. And we all know with how last year panned out, how Greg Sankey from the SEC was probably the biggest mouthpiece of wham, 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 poor us. We didn't get our teams in. And then you had Mike Norvell on the other hand, a couple years ago with Florida State not getting, or no, Miami, excuse me, Mario Cristobal last year, bitching and complaining about Miami not getting in. So I think some of those things work against us being a 2-loss team, but I think with 2 losses and 2 losses being against formidable opponents that are going to be competing probably in the final weeks of the season, I think we still sit in a very good spot, especially when we have taken care of business. And I know people aren't going to like hearing this, but people want Notre Dame in the college football playoffs, quote unquote. They do, but they don't, because of our brand. Everyone likes to see Notre Dame lose. Everyone likes to see Notre Dame with that target on their back and the spotlight on. And I just think it's a different time in Notre Dame history where it's not with the guy that just got the pink slip in Louisiana. It's with a guy named Marcus Freeman now. And I think we showed that we're going to compete with the best of them, SEC, ACC, Big Ten. It doesn't matter. We're here to stay, and I think we've claimed our territory in being that independent team that's back, rather than is just kind of a pretender and fraud. The fraud. I love that word. Yeah.
As you were talking, looked up and see Miami go for it on 4th and 1 and fail. So SMU gets the ball back. So this game is not over. And Miami playing, Nate brought up a point that this is the first time Miami's played outside of the state of Florida all year, which is laughable.
Yeah.
But
It's,
they, like you said a couple weeks ago though, Jeff, Miami's gonna Miami, and it looks like they might be Miami-ing again because SMU's keeping it close. And SMU's not a bad team, but I mean,
no,
we can't have Miami and A&M losing games, man. That's gonna be tough for our resume.
Yeah, and I mean, you just said it. SMU is not a bad team. Like, SMU had a Heisman hopeful and Kevin Jennings coming back this year, and they got one of Miami's receivers from last year to go to SMU, Lewis Brinson. Like, SMU isn't a bad team, but again, it's these early season losses that hit these teams, and you kind of forget about them, and then Miami goes there and they play them, and it's like, oh shit, what's going on?
They're actually good,
you know. So
no, exactly.
So I think we're seeing that right now in a nutshell with that up-tempo offense, especially that SMU runs.
Yeah, it's definitely, this is some of the most parity I can ever remember seeing in all of college football. I mean, who aside from maybe Ohio State, who really is the alpha? There really isn't one. I mean, I don't consider Georgia Tech to be an alpha. I think they're fine. I don't think they'll be there in the end. I think Georgia's going to smash them, or even Miami. I think A&M is in the conversation of one of the better teams. But again, aside from Ohio State, I feel like it's just a wide open race. And even with Ohio State, you're still looking at a first-time freshman throwing the football, or first-time quarterback out there. So they have some weaknesses as well. Not many, but I just think it's a wide open race, and Notre Dame's getting hot and staying hot at the right time. I mean, this has got to be the time to strike and get in there. And I don't really care what seed we're in. When you're in the playoffs, all bets are off.
100%. And I mean, we saw it last year, how it played out, whether being a 5 seed, 10 seed, 12 seed, it doesn't matter. I think Notre Dame is going to be on the latter side, and I think we'll be traveling somewhere if we do get in.
Yep.
But I have no problem with Notre Dame playing in a hostile environment.
I saw one that had Notre Dame playing at BYU in the first round, and then the winner gets to the lovely challenge of facing Georgia, who that is, yeah. I don't know about that one, but anyway, we'll see. It's just so much still to go. So many factors involved. By the way, SMU just brought in their backup quarterback because Jennings got hurt. So they got some kid named Ty Hawkins in there right now. Let's see. Pretty funny comment from our guy, Luis Alberto Rescalvo Tafoya. Said,
Four
let's give them
quarters of Chinga tu madre.
Yeah, let's give them 4 quarters of Chinga tu madre football. To translate in not to get banned terms, that means 4 quarters of FU football type deal. And F your mom football to be exact.
F your mom
thanks,
football
Luis.
to be exact.
Yeah, to be exact. Just want to make sure we're translating correctly. Irish Tiger says need an SMU turnover. KJ Dearman said love the damn Irish all day, every day. That's right, sucker. Justin Knox chiming in. College football has the best regular season in all of sports. Plus, can we get games on campus for the quarterfinal games also, please? I would 100% agree with that.
I'm not opposed one bit.
Yeah, I think I understand, having the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl, that kind of thing, the Rose Bowl. But, man, how cool would it be to see some of these matchups at historic college football arenas? I mean, you had Notre Dame hosting the first ever college football playoff game in South Bend. How can you don't get any better than that?
No, and it wasn't.
Let's see, KJ Dearman says, my spouse is an Ole Miss alum, so we're hoping Indy versus Ole Miss in the first round. I'd love to spank the SEC in Oxford. That'd be an interesting one. Ole Miss, I wouldn't mind going to a game in Oxford for the playoffs. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. I love that quarterback. I love that quarterback from Ole Miss. I'm not trying to fluff Ole Miss here, but that quarterback, that Chambliss kid from Ole Miss is special. And what's nice about him is he played up north where I am, like not close, but he played at Ferris State, won 2 national titles, and took a bet on himself as a D2 quarterback, and Lane Kiffin picks him up. And it's like that's where the talent's like there, like everywhere.
Yeah. I hated Lane Kiffin when he was with FUSC for obvious reasons, but Lane Kiffin is first of all, he's a hell of a coach. He's also very entertaining. The more Lane Kiffin, the better, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah. I love it too, especially in his post-game interview. What was it, last week, where he was getting interviewed, and one of the players who was talking smack the whole game, was walking right past him, and he went up to Kiffin, and I think he was like trying to like joke around with Kiffin and say good game to him, and Kiffin was like, oh, you ain't running your mouth now, aren't you? And he called him out by number, and then he talks about he's like that linebacker, and I think he was talking about Danny Stutzman, and he's like, that linebacker, you weren't going to get any better than that in this country. And I was like, this guy's it, like he's very charismatic, and you could tell that. I mean, he's a damn good football coach. I mean,
absolutely
good lineage. I mean, he comes from a football family, so
yeah, his dad wasn't too bad either, actually.
not by any means. He 85 Bears.
Yeah, God, Monty Kiffin, what a legend. One other thing I wanted to talk about before we jump off here. Again, it's Boston College, so not a whole lot of storylines to break down other than, hopefully smashing them and getting some subs in. But want to talk a little bit about some of the things that have been developing in the whole national scene of college football coach roundtable, round robin. As if we didn't know the absolute treasure that we have in Marcus Freeman, for him to basically just tell Florida, who else? I lost my train of thought because I saw many ponies sprinting across the field at SMU. Anyway, tell Florida to take this job and shove it. Penn State takes this job and shove it. Doesn't seem like he's going to be talking to LSU either. As if we didn't know the treasure that we have in Coach Freeman. I mean, the guy is just special and really, really does want to win in South Bend. And I think this is just a big reminder to some of these folks who at the beginning of the year, after starting off 0-2, were running their mouths. Is just like, look, we are in an absolutely wonderful position with this man from a on the field and off the field perspective, and roll with him because he's going to roll with us, and he's going to take us to the promised land. I can absolutely feel it.
Yeah, I feel like
without a doubt.
I feel like last year was just like a precursor, to what can come. This was last year was chapter 1. This is chapter 2. If there's going to be struggles, like we've said that multiple times, like with any coach, you can point to any coach, there's struggles somewhere. And, this year to start the year off, there were struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And, you look at the team now from where we were week 1 in Miami, it's a completely different team.
Totally. 100%. and that's with some injuries. I
Yeah.
mean, Jaden Greathouse and Scrouth, Charles Jagasaw. I mean, with some of these guys, it's insane. Gary Canaday says HCMF for POTUS. I don't know about all that. I want to continue to like him, not have to have division. But anyway, we are beyond lucky to have Coach Freeman, and I think he's the kind of guy that in 10, 15 years from now, we're going to have his quotes like on our boards at work and, in the frames in our man cave and stuff. I mean, he always says the right things, and he doesn't do it as a used car salesman. He does it because he believes it.
Yeah. I mean, he comes out with something every press conference. You hear him say something
totally.
that sticks in your head every press conference. It's just
the comments about Minchie this last time I thought were absolutely perfect. Hey, look,
he got emotional.
He did. He absolutely did. Because that's his guy. All these kids on his team now these are his guys. Like, he either brought them over in the portal or he recruited them and brought them in, and that he loves his players. And I mean, gosh, it even goes down to some of the walk-ons. What's the kid that's been coming in at tight end?
Matt Jeffrey.
Thank you, Matt. The way he talks about him, that's a walk-on. I bet you Brian Kelly didn't know 2 walk-ons names in that entire program.
Chris Fink, man.
No,
maybe Chris Fink.
Well, the biggest thing, I think the biggest thing, not to really try to interrupt here, but the biggest thing is that I take away in Marcus is just him talking is that delayed gratification. You hear that all the time with him. You're seeing guys like, for instance, KK Smith in the NC State game. You're seeing Matt Jeffrey throw a freaking lead block for Jeremiah Love, where it's like, why is Jeffrey on the field? And it's like, this is what Marcus is talking about. You're seeing these guys get their moments. Dallas Golden. You're seeing we saw Mark Zachary early on in their careers, but
Carson
these guys
Hobbs.
that are we're seeing these guys that are putting their time in, and it's going to come into fruition if they keep working. And I think that's just the motto, and that's the team morale right now, where they are just all about how good could we be and how good could we be for each other.
Well, one of the things that me and Nate have been talking about quite a bit over the past few weeks or so is the 24 team, kind of a team of destiny. You brought in Riley Leonard. He did his thing. 25, you got CJ Carr. Okay, first-time quarterback no matter what. Testing things out, but we're still dominating and looking really good. But, dude, 2026, first of all, with the schedule, not exactly a tough schedule, but the friggin' recruiting class is coming in 26. There's a couple guys on there that are probably going to play right away. And then you're going to have so much talent coming back on defense and offense that, to me, 26 is like, that could be a very, very special year. I think this year could be special just because of the way it started and the ability to come back and potentially put ourselves in the playoffs. But when I look at 26, and I'm just kind of scrolling through some of the recruits, I mean, 4 5-stars. When was the last time Notre Dame had recruited 4 5-stars? Never. I mean, come on now, this is ridiculous.
Brian Kelly didn't. He was allergic to big-time recruits
and playing big-time recruits when they got him on campus. I mean, you got some of these freshmen. Again, we mentioned Mark Zachary, we mentioned Carson Hobbs, some of the guys that didn't think they'd have to contribute this year, but instead they're making plays, getting picks against our heated rivals. I mean, it's really, really building something here. And a lot of the credit goes to the assistant coaches too. Mike Mickens. Oh my God. Our linebacker coach, you know him.
Max Bullock. Max Bullock.
Yeah. And speaking of absolutely nothing, how awesome was it at the end of the game? Notre Dame showing a little flair as SC's walking out the field talking smack. You saw our fans giving it to him. It was just such a beautiful scene, man. I love that we actually have that kind of fire and that kind of fight now. It's like, dude, get off our effing field, man. We just worked you. Like, go back to Southern Cal with your tail tucked between your legs.
That's their motto, is if we can't beat them, let's just cause a shitstorm and
let's have a riot after the game.
That's a very
riot
Los
after the
Angeles thing to do.
Amber Sullivan, going back to the Freeman stuff real quick, Amber Sullivan brought something up I should have mentioned earlier, but a story came out that Freeman donated a bunch of money to his high school alma mater to renovate their weight room. So, the list goes on and on about this guy. And he didn't do a press conference and put a press release out about it. He just did it, and somebody heard about it and put it out there. So just the kind of guy that you want your kids to look up to and you want your kids to play for. So that's why you're getting these, Rodney Durhams and Joey O'Briens and Curry Adams and hopefully Keeman Spell. I mean, geez. My only concern at this point is where all these footballs going to go to when they when you have 7 running backs that can all start anywhere else.
It's not a bad problem to have.
True. Move some of them to receiver for all I care.
Yeah.
So. All right, guys. Well, we are going to go ahead and end this thing. Thank you for jumping on. We'll be back in a few hours, hopefully for some post-game excitement and post-game celebration. As always, thanks for tuning in. Jeff, thank you always for jumping in and providing that insight. And yeah, we'll see you guys in a few hours for the post-game. With that, go Irish, beat Boston College.